And we're on. Thanks for being patient, everyone. If you ever get annoyed with that music, just go ahead and turn off the sound and feel free to chat away with everyone like some of you were already doing. If you're watching the replay, just fast forward. I had someone yesterday tell me that it took forever in the 5 minutes. That's to help build an audience. It gives time for the stragglers and people to hop on. But just go ahead and fast forward that baby and get right to the good stuff. So, here we go. Some of you know that I had my second bout with GrubHub as far as restriction on my blocks. I didn't hear back from them for a full day this time. I got the email the following day to schedule the phone appointment to get my blocks back, or basically to discuss it. It all amounted to Tuesday I got really sick. I have real bad stomach and GI stuff, and sometimes when I work out and the heat-induced sickness. So I worked out Tuesday after I worked at the gym. I got really sick. I had a block right after. I was so sick, I was puking, that I didn't even have a chance to drop that block. I mean, that was the last thing I was thinking about at that point. So I was never available, so I never toggled on available, but I didn't drop the block. We all know that after 14 minutes, that block is force dropped and it's marked absent. Even though you're absent, make sure to call driver care and email your driver specialist and let them know what happened. I found out that if we're proactive in doing that, that's the only thing that covers our butt from having these, you know, investigation on our accounts. It comes from a lot of people taking advantage of the contribution system. From taking advantage that people are manipulating that system and figuring out when they can log off and different things they can do in their markets, which I totally understand. Those of you that have really slow markets, GrubHub's really new, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I talked to a lady the other day, and I'll go into that story in a bit, and it really helped shed a lot of light into it in some situations. But anyway, back to the story here. So when you have these calls, make sure that you record every call with GrubHub, driver care, driver specialists, anyone, any employee from there. It's the only thing covering your butt and the only evidence of holding up whatever you're going to say against what they said. So we set it up. I get Friday where we have our thing. So it's 2 days now I lost of being able to work, because right now it's too slow in Phoenix to be off block. In a few months from now, it isn't going to matter. I could have been off block and I would have killed it. But being off block hurt. I mean, I probably got 10 requests, 10 offers total in those 2 days. So just to give you an idea of the difference of being on block or off block in my market right now. And everybody's market's different, right? Different at different times of years. There's just so many factors, so many variables. So one thing I always stress to everybody is quit listening to what everybody else says on Facebook and everywhere else. Test it yourself. Do a little research, do some testing, talk to people in your market, gain information to make the best decision for yourself. So we're set up for Friday. We have the call. I recorded, of course. I want to have recording of that employee-employer relationship that they're basically having with us. So taking away and restricting our blocks doesn't have to be done in a lot of these situations. They could have contacted us and asked and found out without doing it. The reason they do that is because it's a psychological scare tactic that gets us to behave a little more and think about what we're doing, because it's a big reality and it's a big potential for a lot of us. It's a scary thing, right? I know some of you wake up every day worried that you're gonna get that email, especially those of you that cherry pick. I'm not worried about it from cherry picking because I'm doing everything within my rights. So that's not a big deal there. But, so I was sick all day Tuesday. I had a few other blocks. I was able to go in and drop one later, but not the rest of them. So all amounts to the being absent. I was never available on the app. I never turned it on to work. But because I was absent for those blocks, and there were several of them one day and I didn't work, she took me off, put me on restriction. So just to clarify, it's our driver specialists that put these restrictions and hold on us. So I've heard somewhere that there's a bad list, right? There's a naughty list. I'm not sure about that. There may or may not be. But if there is, I'm for surely on it. Anyhow, but that would make sense that there's some people that they would watch closer than others based on just numbers and data. So I speak to her. She tells me it's that. She lets me know that it's my second strike, and if it happens again, I'll lose my block access permanently. I clarified to her that if she told me that these could have been cleared up without having block access, why does it strike against me? And I also put it out there. I asked her, how can we get this information out for all the other drivers? Because a lot of drivers are unaware of these strikes that they're getting until it happens. And obviously, if you crew 3 of them, you're done. There is no more block access and it's permanent. So, which sucks. That'd kill a lot of people, right? Anyhow, so I got a lot of information from her as far as what I can do to prevent this in the future, since there are these things that we don't know about. She said the best thing to do is be proactive and to contact in any situation where we have to toggle on available early when our block isn't done yet. Dropping a block's fine. As long as you drop the block, you're fine there. I know that. But if you want to be careful and go ahead and contact them anyway, go ahead. She said that we basically have to contact and explain ourselves why we missed the block or whatever happened. Man, that sure sounds like I'm talking to an employer right there, right? It's like phone up the boss. Hey, man, I couldn't make it in today. I was so sick. I just couldn't make it in. I'm an independent contractor. If I'm sick, I just don't log on to work at all, right? I mean, that's as far as my, knowings as independent contractor relationship. So she put my access back and I'm good to go. In talking with a lot of other people that do get contribution in some of these small markets and very new markets, they're having no issues. They're not getting restricted because they're communicating all the time. Some of them are communicating as often as every half hour to hour when they don't get any pings. So say that you're in a slow market and you're not getting any pings. Contact driver care. Use the number 4 option to kind of skip through all the nonsense. And then ask them, is there any available offers? Is there a hotspot nearby? So ask them if there's somewhere you can go nearby. But you have to be proactive. If you're just sitting in a slow area and just collecting contribution, they're eventually gonna get you. So, and there's just, man, if it's that slow, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're just hanging out with your pup or something like that, man, and collecting easy money. But just know that that stuff's what's contributing to what's going on. So make sure that if you are getting contribution and you rely on that till your market grows, contact driver care, email your driver specialist to let them know what's going on. Driver care is the one you can call when you're logged on to figure out if there's any requests or any better spots to go to. So in regards to those that do rely on the slow markets, I accidentally offended someone on Pete's feed that one day. Luckily I did say no offense, so she didn't take it any offense. She actually messaged me and let me know what her situation is. Her market's slow and all they have right now is Lyft and Uber, which is horrible. That's probably worse than contribution. They just suck. I mean, your dollar per mile is just garbage. You're not gonna make any profits doing them. And you're gonna run your cars into the ground unless you're working really smart and have like an XL or something and doing a lot of prime time and surge rides. Her husband is on waiting to get disability, so it's a great time for them to spend time together when she's out delivering food until he does get the disability. Even if they're not making any deliveries, they're just hanging out. Think about that. You take away TV and all technology, now you actually communicate and you spend quality time together. Think about that. I know some that take their kids and things like that. It's a great thing. I mean, you can't put a price on that. So we talk about like dollar per mile, dollar per hour. That time that she's able to spend with her husband until he gets disability, and even though it's only for contribution, you can't put a price tag on that, man. That is priceless. So if your circumstances, your situation is somewhere along those lines, remember that there's a lot more value than just the dollar amount that you're getting. But make sure to be proactive in your markets to avoid block restriction. So now I'm gonna ask, anybody have any questions as far as that goes? If you're watching the replay, throw those questions down in the comment section. Any and all questions, I will definitely answer them to shed more light on this for anyone that is still kind of clueless or has any kind of questions there. Pete's on. Thanks, Pete, for jumping on, saying hi. Karen, what's up? We have Neo Soul Rider. What's up, Neo? What's up with that name, man? That's interesting. I'm always curious about different names that people choose and why they chose them. We got Duke. What's up, Duke? Man, Pete's awesome. Thank you, Pete, so much for all those plugs. You're the man. He knows that I truly care about people and what I'm doing is a good thing and sees that. So thanks again, Pete, for everything you've done for me and for all the drivers out there. Having someone like you is amazing for this community. We appreciate you. Thank you, Pete. Oh, we can get 7 likes for sure. Easy. Even if it's on the replay. If you have ever experienced block restriction, please comment why, just the letter Y in the comments, and give a brief description on as far as why. All right, guys, ladies, I'm gonna jump off here, get my day started. It is 10:31 a.m. My block starts at 11. I'm ready to hit at least $150 today. And as always, representing my exclusive networking community, Team Ping. We rock, man. Peace.